All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, profitable traders and upcoming profitable traders. How are we today? Please leave an emoji for me in the chat box if you can hear me and you can see me and also see my screen. You just leave a yes or an emoji signifying that. All right, thank you, Isioma. Good morning, Adi. Okay, so without further ado, right, let's just get into business. We'll be looking at AUD as usual when I come on board. Good morning, Mr. Franklin. Now, for AUD, what do we see happening in this market today? Before we go further into today's analysis, though, I would like to ask that we please share this link to as many people as possible so they can be a part of what we're doing here. As usual, this market color session is sponsored by Okta and brought to you by the VFT team. So please share the link to people you know will benefit from this, whether they are traders or people who are interested in the financial market field. Let them be a part of this to benefit as well. I'm going to believe you're already doing that because I trust you. Okay, so on the AUD/USD weekly time frame, what do we see? Overall, you're looking at your chart and you're seeing consecutive lower lows and lower highs being formed, right? This is almost clearly a bearish move, right? What we saw here when price tried to break above the structure, it did break above it actually. I looked at a retest because we see a bodily candle here. So on the weekly time frame of AUD/USD, overall structure is still very bearish. However, we see a bit of BOS around this point. It broke this level. If you put it here, you see that the candle broke above it, but then it went back almost immediately, right? On the daily time frame, however, you see structures being formed to the upside. But if you decide to draw a trend line here to catch the tops of all these candles being formed right around this level, you see that it looks as if AU is starting to form lower lows and lower highs on the daily time frame, right? You see this, it looks like that's what it's doing, with the exception of this week that broke above it. So liquidity wise, which is one of the things we always look out for when looking at a chart to see what is going to draw price, because that's what moves the market, right? We see liquidity, a bunch of it around here, and a fair value gap right here, which we expect AUD/USD to trade into. This analysis has been since last week when we said we were seeing more bullish moves for AUD/USD. And if we go on the lower time frames, you see exactly where AUD/USD tested into and bought as we had analyzed last week, right? So there's liquidity here and there's a fair value gap around this point. Ideally, we're supposed to mark out 50% of it. So let's adjust that, right? That's one liquidity point. And then you look below it and you see another liquidity point as well for AUD/USD, most likely area for AU to trade into. And you see here, a diagonal liquidity, this consecutive touch of candles that are very close to each other. If we now decide to draw out this FVG right here, right? So we have liquidity on the upside and we have liquidity on the downside. How then can we now decide or what trend we're going to trade along with? What we want to see right now, or what I want to see all of us that trade this pair, is to see if AU is going to break above this trend line and retest. If AUD/USD breaks above this trend line and gives us a retest, the most likely liquidity it's going to grab is going to be the one above it here, right? But if it maintains the structure and then continues to trade lower, it most likely will do something like this. Trade below it to take out the liquidity here, trade into the FVG before we now see a final move upward to trade into the higher liquidity that we have above it. So this is our bias for AU on daily time frame. We have liquidity on both directions, but we want to see structure first, break and retest, and then we'll start to buy to come and take out this liquidity point here, provided rather that it meets all our specific entry criteria on lower time frames. And if it doesn't and respects this level and starts to trade lower, we're going to continue trading it downward and trade into this diagonal liquidity and fair value gap we have on the downside. And when it gets here, it most likely will do this and trade above. I believe this time frame is clear. On the 4-hour time frame now, on the 4-hour time frame, this is the Fibonacci swing we had drawn sometime last week. And we had said we wanted to see price trades below and trade into a premium level for us to start to buy. And that's exactly what it did. It traded into the fair value gap, went all the way to the 50% fib level. In it's almost 60, but the one that held was 50% fib level, and then it just started to buy. So you see how precise this guy can be sometimes. So we've seen it here. This has happened. What do we want to see now? If AUD/USD, ideally, when price retraces the 50% fib level, you should continue trading higher and most likely trade into this level here, which is around the 50%, the one marked up. So negative 50% above it, right? Ideally, following the Fibonacci rule. So the tendency of us seeing AUD/USD breaking above this is kind of high. Regardless, we're not going to just predict. We're going to say, let's wait. If price breaks above this and retraces or retests rather, we're going to continue buying it above. And if it doesn't, regardless, when it comes to Fibonacci swings, you need to remember that as long as your most recent Fibonacci swing has not been violated, it is still very much in play. And looking at this, what we have is a buy Fibonacci move that is still in play. As long as price does not trade below this and breaks below 100, this buy swing is still very much in play, right? And if price breaks above this and continues to trade higher, then it should just be that those buyers were lucky enough to enter from here will still be trading it above to catch the profits till it gets to this negative 50% fib level. So for now, personally, I'm going to be watching to see what AUD/USD decides to do, right? I'm just going to be watching the charts. For those of us who are in the TDA Plus group, when I see a very, very clear bias for AU, I'm going to be dropping my trade setups, as we always do. If you're not aware or not familiar with what the TDA Plus group is about, it's a separate group where every trader on the floor drops their trade calls, and the members of that group get to trade alongside the value flow traders, right? So yeah, that's it for AUD/USD. Let's see NZD/USD. They should be a bit familiar. What do we see on NZD/USD? On this time frame now, the structure is also very bearish. Price got to this level and we're starting to see reactions to the downside. On the daily time frame as well, you see. So you traded here, but you failed to take out this level. You failed to take out this point right here. So price is currently respecting the down structure. If NZD/USD breaks below this, it's going to keep going downward. Where is liquidity points that NZD/USD will be heading for on the lower time frame? We have it here, which is our diagonal liquidity and our 50% FVG, aka consequent encroachment. So this is most likely what NZD/USD is going to do. However, if NZD/USD eventually creates a higher high that takes out this level, it's coming for this higher time frame, rather the liquidity level above it, which is here. But based off what structure is doing and what it is forming, we're still seeing lower lows, lower highs being printed. So we're going to be watching to see NZD/USD most likely come out to take the liquidity downward here. On the 4-hour time frame as well, you see all of this structure. Look at what NZD/USD has been doing. I traded NZD/USD, was it last week or so, and it was really frustrating because it just kept dancing around. And that's the thing with commodity currency pairs, they can be very slow sometimes, right? So on the NZD/USD time from the 4-hour time frame as well, we still see this guy being formed. So we're going to be watching to see if NZD/USD comes and takes out this level, because this is a support level. This has acted as a support level for a while. Every time price traded into this level, it's found support and bounced back, right? So is NZD/USD going to trade downward and take out all of this support, all these SLs of people that have been buying NZD/USD? Most likely, right? Remember, the level we marked out as liquidity on the higher time frame is still here. So for NZD/USD, my bias is more to the downside. I'm currently in an NZD/USD sell as we speak, been in it since Friday. So I'm going to be watching. Regardless, my bias is still to the downside for NZD/USD. Now let's take a look at USD CAD. You notice that we're not really going to lower time frames to fine-tune entries, because what I would like to see before I start thinking of entering, if I were to enter the market right now, I'm not saying So until that plays out and gives me a clear view, I'm going to keep watching. Now, when I see the market picking a very clear direction, for NZUS, they have been in the sales since last week, right? So when I see the market picking a clear direction, then I'm going to share in the TD Plus group. But let me go back to NZUSD. So this is something people can do as well. When you miss a trade and the trade has already started going far and you're looking for where to enter, you can come on time frames like the 1 hour or even the 15-minute time frame, and you look for fair value gaps that you could wait for price to retrace back into before you start to either sell or buy, right? So you see that price came back, retraced into this FVG that we see on the 5-minute time frame, and it dropped. So for now, there's no fair value gap that we can look at price retracing into because it already did that here. So we're just going to be watching NZUSD till it gives us a fresh entry. For USD card now, what do we see on USD card? So we've been saying this for a while. This guy has just been doing this. It's been caught in a range for the longest, even though people have been making money in between the highs and the lows of it. On the daily time frame as well. So I was thinking price was going to eventually break out of these equal highs and lows we've been seeing, but it's still not too late because price hasn't exactly taken out this level for us to say the sell move has resumed. And if you look at structure very, very closely, you see that price broke above these most recent highs here, right? So it broke above it. However, it has come to break this as well. So USD card is still not very clear. Still not very clear. So this pair have been leaving it for a while because it's not been giving me what I want to see. And the pairs I've been trading are AU and NZUSD. So right, that is pretty much it for the commodity currency analysis this morning. If you have questions, please let me know in the chat box. As a reminder, remember we have our ATM cash flow training, the first of its kind in July, coming up in Abuja, right? People are already grabbing their slots, and we still have a few left. So this is a reminder that you take advantage of that. If you're based in Abuja and you've not really had time to come all the way down to Zaria to be a part of our training physically, just take advantage of the training we'll be doing in Abuja. It's going to be really insightful. For those of you who joined our camp event, that event was value packed. And I know because so many people were there. It was a 2 days event. And from the first day to the last day, everybody was seated and learning. So we're coming again, and we're coming with value. All right. So please take advantage of that. Be there. Hi, Mr. Felix. Okay, so there are no questions. My colleague is going to be coming on board and taking over from here. Thank you so much for joining this session. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Good morning, everyone, once again, and welcome back to the second session of this London Market Color. Let's get right into it. And in this session, we'll be analyzing the indices, and by indices, I mean S&P 500, US 30, and also NAS 100. That's the NASDAQ. We're looking at how this performed last week, all our analysis, and to see potential moves for this week, as you all know. So let's go right into the chart. Let's get right into the chart, see what we are having for today. So this is US 30. We're starting with US 30. Last week, we had an analysis on US 30. That was New York market color session by 3:30 on Thursday. We said that we are buying US 30 regardless of the temporary range in price that we saw last week. Said we are bullish on US30, and the bullishness is because of the fundamental reason which you said was because of the presidential election cycle currently at play, meaning the US election is around the corner, and we expect everything to rally, the stock market, Nasdaq, and the rest, which we've seen on NAS itself, right? We've seen this rally happen on NAS, whereby we said NAS has done its 100% retracement. A quick recap: NAS did its 100% retracement. In fact, has gone into new areas of price discovery and is currently retracing, right? However, we've not seen the same happen on US30, and we said we'll be patiently waiting to long US30. Also, we want to see the same happen across board with US30. This is it here. So price was around here last week. We said we are going to long US30 until it until we see the 0.0 fib level fully mitigated, right? When price reach this place, we expect price to clear this old high and then form a new high for it to also start its own price discovery in new levels. So this is what we saw last week. We are here 4 hours time frame. We're somewhere around here last week. Friday, Thursday. Let me look. Last week Thursday. Yes, we're somewhere around there last week Thursday, and then price tapped into an FVG that we all marked out on the Zoom call that day. We saw price tapped into an FVG on lower time frame, so 45 minutes. So price tapped into an FVG, and then we saw that boom to the upside. Yes, this FVG here, right? Price tapped into it and then begin to see price push to the upside. And so currently we are very bullish on US30. From a higher time frame perspective, we are bullish. From long-term, short-term buyers, we are bullish. Long-term buyers, we are bullish. Where are we going to start buying from in terms of what's next for US30 now? Seen it giving us a lot of FVG, and like I said, price respect FVG a lot. Okay, they say you can't see. Please confirm if you can see my screen. Somebody is saying, Sammy is saying, okay. All right, thank you. So what are we looking next for US30? There's a lot of FVG being formed around this level, right? A lot of FVG being formed around here. Price already tested this before. We saw that move to the upside, tapped into it a little bit, and then continue pushing to the upside. I will want to consider the one down here. And then look for 4 hours time frame. Lower TF, that's 1 hour time frame, and then continue the buy to the upside. Let me give us a 2. Use a 2. Yes, the part 2. So something like this, and then of course, you know what I will be looking for around this level, looking for a sweep of liquidity, previous low, and then break in market structure for price to come and take it to the downside. Example, something like this. Those that are familiar with how we trade the markets, something like this on lower time frame, and then so we'll be looking at for something like this around this region, a sweep of liquidity, break of structure to the upside, another break of structure, and then price coming to take out the low that was formed before the sweep of liquidity, and then we join the ride to the upside. So this is what I'll be looking for on US30. And where am I buying to? I'm buying all the way until we see this, until we see price get to this place, clearing the old high, that's 0.00 fib level, and probably a Fibonacci extension of minus 23.6. Yes, somewhere around here. That would be like a more ambitious TP. However, it's possible because we've seen NAS 100 also has done its own, clearly retraced full percent. It didn't have to even, it didn't get all the way down to 61.8 level. We just tapped on 38.2% fib level, and then what happened? It traced all the way, and from there it has extended into minus 1.8 fib level, right? So we're expecting the same to happen on US 30, and that is what we are looking at. For sales bias, we are not having any sell bias for now until we see a significant change. Something drastic must have happened to cause any bias, any change of bias to a sell direction, because price did not clear the last low that was formed here. Price did not clear this low. Instead, it was forming higher highs and higher lows, right, to the upside. So this is what we're having for today. You can begin to ask your question. If you have any question, any other bias, in the chat box, in the comment section, you can ask your question. If there's any gray area you want us to share more light on as regards this analysis that has been made, Lechi is asking a question. Please, what is the right lot size to use on a $5,000 account for US 30? That question, I will throw it back to you. So what's your SL like? What's your SL? And what is the contract size of the broker you're using, right? This thing determines a lot. On some broker, they use a contract size of 10, right? Another broker uses a contract size of 100. On a broker, you might not be able to open 0.01. The least you might be able to open is 0.1. So you have to ensure that what is the broker's the contract size your broker is using for, specifically for indices, right? S&P 500, NASDAQ, and US 30. The second question is, what's your SL? Because your SL determines your stop loss in terms of the dollar amount. 100 pips SL equivalent to $100, right? So I can't give you the specific lot size to use. It depends on you, what you're going to trade, what you're looking to trade, what's the SL like, what's the contract size. So when you get that, you can now define your lot size. You can define your lot size. Please, is there any other question? Do we have any other question as regards the S&P 500? As regards to US 30, S&P 500, and NASDAQ? Today is quite short because it's clear. The market is very, very clear. There's no point beating around the bush. The market is very clear. And we had an analysis since last week. So it's just playing out. We're just looking at how it's playing out. Just looking at how it's playing out. I'm waiting for us if you have any question. Okay, if there's no question, in the absence of no question, we'll be reconvening by 3 o'clock for the New York market color session. However, I'd like us to know once again that by July, ATM cash flow training is coming up, Abuja, right? If you're in the city of Abuja and you want to take, I believe everybody that attended Traders Bootcamp, you've seen what it looks like. You want an extensive study, more specialized training, right? To ensure you sign up for the training. It's going for 150,000 naira, right? You can do well to send us a DM and make your payment. Make your payment now before the slots are fully booked. Rez is asking, please, what was the bias for GU and EU? I missed that from your female colleague. Okay, I believe you're joining us newly, or you might have forgotten. Today is for commodities and indices, meaning commodities, AU, NZD, USD, and USD card, and also the indices part of things. You'll be having analysis on GU and EU by tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday and Thursday are for commodity asset class and also indices asset class. So by that being said, there was no analysis on GU or EU today. There wasn't any analysis on GU or EU today. We had analysis on AU, analysis on SZD, USD, had analysis on USD card, right? I'm also doing an analysis on US 30 and NAS 100. By tomorrow, you get your bias for GU and EU. So guys, like I was saying, if you're in the city of Abuja and you would like to enroll for our training, ensure you send all your inquiry, ask your inquiry from our WhatsApp number. It's going to be displayed in the comment section shortly, right? So you get all your questions answered and then make your full payment. And by July, we'll see you in class. We also have bots available for your trading accounts. Those are 9 to 5 workers. Those that are very busy, don't have time to actively trade the markets themselves. You can as well make your inquiries on our bots. We have bots that are specifically designed for this purpose that generate consistent profits month on month for you. So do well to send your DMs and make your purchases as regards any of our products. All right, until then, I wish you a profitable trading. See you 3 o'clock for our New York Market Color session. And cheers and God bless. See you there.